Right now, we're on the brink of an economic collapse when it comes to the dollar, and there's only one way that you can save yourself from this. At least one way that we know almost certainly is going to be the best hedge against this insane inflation that we are seeing right now with the dollar as we get closer and closer to a massive collapse potentially for the dollar. There's no guarantee that will happen, but it's looking more and more likely with the day. At the very least, we're having a lot of big names who are warning about a massive recession that could happen over the course of the next few months and over the course of 2023. Take a look at this. If Fed raises rates again next week, the recession will be greatly amplified. Elon Musk sounding the alarm bell. I'll go ahead and show you what this tweet looks like right here. There's Elon Musk saying that, letting people know exactly how scared you should be if the federal government continues to make some of the moves they have been making. Here's a look at those interest rates. You can see since the beginning of 2022, the Fed has raised interest rates massively. And I'm going to tell you exactly how all of this ties into Dogecoin and why it's so important that you subscribe with notifications on right this instant if you want to be staying up to date on all of these important economic measures, and why there are definitely avenues that you need to pursue in order to not only hedge against this, but hopefully even fight back against it. Because there's a lot of ways we can't do that. But take a look at this. 2022, you can see how fast these interest rates have been rising. The Fed, every time they raise it, it's typically 0.75 basis points, which is 0.75%. And you can see all the way up at 4% now. That makes a massive difference when you're buying a house. Remember, a lot of your actual interest rates are going to be higher than this because you're not going to necessarily qualify for the lowest rate possible every single time. Most people don't, which means you could be paying $300,000 more for the same $500,000 house. You buy a $300,000 house, that's instantly going to cost double with these interest rates. Because over time, that adds up. Every single month, you're paying up to $1,000 more, or even more than that, on your interest. That's why this is so crucial that the government does handle this correctly. Elon Musk sounding the alarm bells, but at the end of the day, there really isn't a lot that the government can do to stop this. You need to be looking at Dogecoin. Elon Musk, he's letting you know, buy Dogecoin. He's saying it. He's not holding back. He's letting you know the only way you can protect yourself against this is to buy cryptocurrency, and Dogecoin, of course, the future cryptocurrency of Earth. If you are holding more dollars than Dogecoins right now, what the heck are you doing? You need to make sure you're hedging your bets against the dollar going down. Everyone is going to watch this. Some people will listen, some people won't. But if you're holding too many dollars, and I get it, you don't want to have your entire net worth in Dogecoin necessarily. You want to be spreading out your net worth into multiple different investments. But the point is, do not hold exclusively the dollar. I personally love Dogecoin. I'm not saying you have to put half of your net worth in Dogecoin. I'm just saying don't hold more than 50% of your net worth in the dollar. Hold at least a percentage of it in crypto. Hold at least a percentage of it in other investments. Hedge. Everyone needs to be paying attention very closely to this because it's extremely scary. And I'm going to show you exactly why these numbers are so bad. So you can take a look here. This right here is one of the most comprehensive and best graphs I've ever found. It actually took me a really long time to find this. I use this anytime I'm in a political debate or argument, anytime I'm trying to show people why the government being too big is bad, anytime I'm trying to show exactly, specifically, statistically speaking, why certain things are the way they are and why they need to change. I put a link to this article. I highly recommend you use this anytime you're in an argument with someone, your uncle, your aunt, your sister, your brother, your dad, your mom, whoever you want to have a political debate with. Use these stats in there. This right here is the American Presidency Project. They show federal budget receipts and outlays, and you can see, once again, I put the link in the description at the very top, so you can go click on that and you can get this article yourself and access it and look at the information. But it shows receipts, which basically is how much the US is bringing in every single year in terms of taxes. Outlays, which is how much they have been spending every single year. Then we have the total surplus, and then the GDP. And so the GDP is how much in total the US has brought in terms of the entire economy, with a lot of that just going directly to people's pocketbooks. And so you can see the GDP right here, $27 trillion, absolutely massive, right, for the US economy. And of that 27 trillion, the US brought in approximately 5 trillion of it. And that's the estimate for 2026. We're actually going to look right here at 2022, which is the most recent one. that's actually on the charts here. By the way, Joe Biden started in 2020, but you can see right here it shows Joe Biden, he brought in $4.1 trillion in 2022 so far, and we have spent $6 trillion approximately. You look here, you see crazy numbers. 3.5 trillion in 2021, 7 trillion is the number that was spent. A lot of that is due to the situation in the world, but still, there's lots of arguments that can be made that shouldn't have been that high. And you look at Donald Trump, he also had a similar issue when it comes to spending too much money. And Obama, certainly a big issue when it comes to spending too much money. Same with George W. Bush. Same with William Clinton. Actually did have a couple of things that he put in place to stop it from going as crazy, but still he was spending too much money. George Bush spending too much money. Ronald Reagan, too much money. You look down the list, there's insane numbers all across the board here, and this is not sustainable. We're going to see bad things with the dollar. We're going to see bad things economically across the globe with fiat currency. You need to look at crypto. It is the answer. It is the solution. It is the way to fix the problem here. If we switch over to that, the government does not have enough power to cause that to have the same implications that we're seeing here with the total deficit and the total collapse of the dollar potentially. Hopefully not. I'm not rooting for that. I don't want it to happen. It's just something that we have to recognize is a real risk. It's possible the dollar could collapse. That's not an overstatement. It could happen. And here's why. Massive, massive, massive spending. 3.6 trillion. We spent 3.6 trillion more than we had in 2021. Ridiculous. And you look, that was completely and totally unnecessary. It's not like the US GDP went down that much. I mean, we've seen a relatively steady increase over time. It's just complete and total inept mismanagement of the government. You have to be completely and totally off your rocker to spend 3.6 trillion more than we have. And Trump, he allowed the same thing to happen close to when he was president in his last year as well. Now, once again, this is due to the situation in the world. It's due to the vid. And so that's why this was supposedly justified. But it really wasn't, though. It was justified to spend more. It was justified to maybe even go up to 2 trillion if you want to really push it and reach. But to go up to 3.6 and 3.1 trillion in those 2 years is an absolute overreach, and the consequences are going to be far greater in the future than the reward that was temporarily received as a result of that. So massive mismanagement there, and that's why Elon Musk is warning about it. That's why he's basically saying buy Dogecoin now. He's saying buy crypto now. He does not want anyone to have to deal with this. He's trying to help the Fed, but he knows the Fed's likely is not going to listen. Take a look at this. You can see someone made fun of it. They will. They already called Larry Fink to go ahead. They won't divert. And Elon Musk said LOL to that. So, of course, the government's not going to manage this right. They've been managing it wrong for a long time. If you actually want to look, this is kind of crazy to look at. So if you look at the max here, you can see, if you look back in 1980, interest rates were at 20%, which is truly insane. And they have gone down steadily since 1980, but we've had a pretty good period between 2010 and 2020 of the interest rates not being that crazy. There was a little bit of an increase going up until 2020, but where we really saw an absolute catastrophe with interest rates is this massive skyrocket here. They have been rising way too fast. They have been mismanaging the money ahead of time. None of this would have had to happen, and now we're facing all the consequences. Yeah, it was nice to spend this money. Sure, there were things that it was needed for, but was it worth it? What about now when we need money for things and we don't have it? I don't think anyone in the government really truly understands and has the foresight to actually spend responsibly. It's really sad. It shouldn't be the case. Everyone only thinks, what's going to be the best right now? Let me spend a bunch of money we don't have, and then who cares about the consequences later? That seems to be the general mindset on it. Yes, if you want to press like, you're certainly welcome to do that. We want to be spreading the message out to everyone that now is the time to look at Dogecoin. Now is the time to look at crypto, because it will undoubtedly hedge against inflation. If we see a massive dollar collapse, it's going to be the only thing that can save your net worth. There is no other option on the table that's at least known now. I mean, of course, we can look in hindsight after it happens and say, oh, well, actually, this investment field stayed relatively strong, like maybe gold or something like that could do okay. We don't know. Gold could go down as well with this dollar collapse. The only one I'm extremely confident is going to be able to hedge is crypto, especially considering the prices it is at now and where we believe it's going to be. The use case combined with the hedge, everyone's going to want to be holding it and putting money into it. It's easily usable. It has actual reasons for holding it that you can use electronically. You don't have to do it in person. You don't have to do it online. You have to do it online. I mean, you can hold in cold storage wallet, but what I'm referring to is with gold, you have to actually sell it online. You have to sell it physically. There are other programs in place and things like that, but it's complicated. The use case is not easily accessible, whereas the use case for crypto is easily accessible, and that's a very important thing. But you can see, and I've really dove. I guess I haven't divin. That would be very hard to do. If someone knows how to divin, then please teach me. I would love to divin into stuff, but I unfortunately am not capable of divining into stuff yet. We need the dictionary actually probably to update their vocabulary for us to be able to be capable of divvying into something. But I dove into the numbers here. I looked into all of them, and it's pretty obvious after looking through this that if you're debating Republican or Democrat, you're debating the wrong thing. What you should be debating is how much should the government be spending, how much should they not be spending. Forget about the R, forget about the D next to people's names. Look at this chart. This is the main job of the federal government. Everyone always thinks, oh, this issue, that issue. Everyone always thinks that's the most important issue when it comes to the federal government. At least not everyone. A lot of people do, right? That's not true. The federal government is a business. If this is doing well, if this is running right, there will be surpluses that can be used for other important projects. There will be increases in innovation that will help improve human quality overall. There will be a lot of positive things that come as a result of just simply running this right. If the US is capable of not spending 3-point-something trillion more than we have in a single year, that's massive. That helps. It's going to be something that's going to be hard to buck the trend of now because we're already so deep into it, but slowly over time, we need to get away from this. We need to get back to a level playing field when it comes to the economic spending versus the revenue brought in. That will lead to more investments from across the globe. It'll lead to better prosperity for people in the United States, and also it'll uplift the entire world through innovation and through actual projects in the private sector, not the government, that help things. The government has proven over and over again to be extremely inefficient. What's really frustrating is of that 3.6 trillion that was spent, more than we had, how much of that do you think was actually efficiently spent? How much of that do you think was wasted? Based on multiple estimates, as much of $1 billion, or as much of as $1 trillion of that was unnecessary and wasted. As much as $1 trillion. So they're being extremely inefficient with the money. If that was the private sector that was handling that same portion of money, it would not have been nearly as inefficient. And so that's why charity is a better answer than government programs. Every single day of the week, charity helps more, charity is more efficient. Charity actually allows more choice, and choice means people have to be better, or else they're not going to have the opportunity to use that money for their cause. You have to put incentives in place. If you look at the DMV, if you look at any government agency, anywhere where you see government employees, what's their morale like? Are they happy? Are they enthusiastic to work? Are they trying hard? Do they care that much about their jobs? Probably not. It's a quick job for a lot of people. It's not a career. And even if it is a career, you're just doing it for the money. You're not necessarily invested in it. You don't necessarily care. You want your own net worth to go up by making money. If you're a politician, you want your own fame to go up. You want your own popularity to go up. So this incentive structure has been skewed for a long time when it comes to this. And that's what has resulted in where we are now. You have to expose yourself in the bear market, says Clinettle, but to a much lesser extent. I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, the truth is, when the ocean comes down, it'll expose who's swimming naked in the bear market. That's a quote I saw on Twitter yesterday. Pretty good quote. It makes a lot of sense. Sometimes a recession is necessary in order to prevent a bigger recession in the future, a small recession to prevent a big one, because a lot of people are swimming quote unquote naked, which basically just means people are not actually able to come up with the assets to back what they say they have or what their investments are used for, if that makes sense. But we need a 90% gain in 20 days. I don't think we're going to get it, says Brandon. That's entirely possible that we will not see Dogecoin hit $1 in the next 20 days. But keep in mind, that's, like I said, dependent on the moon landing. Elon Musk very distracted right now with Twitter. To a large extent, that's an extremely important thing in the world. It's extremely important for free speech. It's extremely important for holding politicians accountable and creating an environment, hopefully, where they don't feel comfortable spending this much of our money that we don't have, where they don't feel comfortable screwing us over in the future in order to get their own popularity ratings up from these programs. That's what we want, and that's extremely important. So I get it, Elon Musk is distracted, that maybe he's not focused as much on the moon mission and the moon landing, but still, the moon landing is coming. The question is just when. If it doesn't happen this year, then my prediction of $1 by the end of the year is probably going to fall flat. because that was the entire basis of the prediction for the most part, with a couple other things in there. But the largest part of the basis of that prediction was the moon landing, and I've been very clear and upfront about that. I don't think I've ever really talked about my $1 prediction without including why I believed it was going to $1 and saying the moon landing within there. And since we don't have an official announcement that the moon landing is going to happen with Dogecoin being put on the moon in 2022, you have to, in theory, assume it's going to be 2023 when it happens. So yes, we'll probably have to wait a little bit longer. I'm still going to be optimistic. I'm still going to hope that Elon Musk can somehow pull it off in the next 20 days. But right now, we're potentially being hopelessly optimistic because it does seem unlikely. I'll be completely honest about that. And of course, you know what I said I would do, and it'll be an epic live stream. We'll live stream it. You know what's going to happen. We'll live stream it. You'll see me say goodbye. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. It is what it is. So just enjoy it while it lasts. Deontay Elroy coming in with $5 there. Appreciate the super chat from Deontay. Super chats go to Starlight. Be ready to close your channel, says Roll. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people are like, Matt, close your channel. You said you would. You know what? We did say that. And you know what? It's time to delete the channel at the end of the year if Dogecoin doesn't hit $1. That's what has to happen. It's what has to happen. We have to do it. Good morning, Matt. Riding with the animal. Coming in with the tea and the sunglasses. Let's go Doge. Moonfest from Hugo. And someone said, Jim Cramer says I blocked him on Twitter. That's funny, man. You know what? I may Jim Cramer. I actually have not blocked you on Twitter. Jim Cramer imagine that's actually the real Jim Cramer. I saw a post from a YouTuber who I like, Kevin. You probably heard of him, maybe not, you probably have though. Kevin posted a picture. Actually, I'll show you this. I thought this was a little bit strange. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, and it did make me think a little bit, I'll be honest, it made me think a little bit differently of Kevin as a result of this, and not because necessarily, I mean, it's okay. Look, I get it. Jim Cramer, he's wrong in a lot of predictions. People make fun of him for that. Okay, it's okay to still like someone as a result of that. But what made me very confused about this is that Kevin knows some of the crazy things Jim Cramer has said. He's pushed the mainstream narrative. He's pushed things that are talking points that make politicians benefit who don't actually do a good job. He's pushed things that I think are the most despicable form of entertainment. He's pushed things out there that shouldn't be out there. And I get it, he's trying to make money, but he's nothing more, in my opinion, at many cases, and many times, many things he said, is nothing more than a political hack. Or not necessarily political. He's not a super political person, but he does clearly take money and make money as a result of saying things that, quote unquote, the people in power want him to say. And that's okay. I mean, I get it. And I'm not saying if Jim Cramer wants to be supporting of one political party, that's fine. It's not about one political party or the other. It's about calling out the bad people who are Republicans and the bad people who are Democrats, no matter what. And Jim Cramer, he's a hack. He won't do that. And that's my biggest problem with Jim Cramer. Not his missed predictions, not how many times he's been wrong. My biggest problem with him is that. And so that's why when Kevin posted this, I just met Jim Cramer at the launch of my ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. Such an honor to meet my idol and a beautiful icon of the NYSE. Now, I get if you want to post a picture with him, but to say he's your idol, your media idol, a beautiful icon, I mean, he's not. I don't think there's any way to say that. Jim Cramer had a chance to be a good media analyst. He sold out over and 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 over again. Over and over and over again. He did. He sold out. And not even, I mean, it's okay if you want to sell it in some ways, but he sold out in a massive way and in a way I can't respect at all. And so that's why I thought this was a little bit silly, and I was surprised to see it. A lot of people roasting him for that. A couple of clowns, nice. This one, are you serious? People surprised that he actually posted that. I was too. I wouldn't have expected Kevin to post that. Kevin seems pretty well-rounded when it comes to his ideas. He seems pretty well-rounded in a lot of ways. I mean, it's easy to hate on YouTubers. It's easy to hate on people like that. I get it. There are some dumb things he's done. Sure, he promoted one of the biggest collapses in the history of cryptocurrency. So yeah, there's plenty of ways you can roast him and you can say bad things. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I think is the problem with this, like I said, is the sellout part, is what Jim Cramer has done, and I don't think you should be posting like that unless you want to get roasted, and he's certainly been roasted heavily under this. This is your definition of an idol. Yikes! A lot of people very heavily roasting him in regards to that. Deontay with another super chat coming in. Appreciate that, Deontay. You're the best. And it's all, super chats are always fun. I like them. That's a good feature YouTube has. I hope Twitter does cool stuff like that. Not necessarily super chats, but crypto sending features to where if I want to send my friends crypto over Twitter, I can do that. Crypto wallets integrated with Twitter, that would be awesome. Elon Musk already hinted many times about Dogecoin acceptance with crypto and Dogecoin crypto integration for payments. Bitcoin as well, he seems to be heavily inclined to include. I don't think it's just going to be Dogecoin, but of course Dogecoin, the main focus. We already knew that. He's going to support it. He always will. But no, we like this channel, says Lady 33333333333. And I appreciate that. And anyone bought Fitcoin? I have not bought that. No, I'm not sure what that is. Are you still challenging your channel if Dogecoin doesn't get to $1? You know what we said? We said it, and we'll do it. Delete the channel if Dogecoin does not hit $1 by the end of the year. We still have time, though. It's not over yet. Yes, it's more of a long shot now because we have not officially heard the moon landing announcement, which is what, like I said, my basis for that prediction was off of. But still, though, there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, even if it's not going to be $1 by the end of the year. We'll hope it is, though. We got our fingers crossed. We'll hope. You can always dream. It's possible. It's not out of the question. Elon Musk, he's been sending the rockets up. He's been testing things. He's at a point now where he probably could do it if he really wanted to. They're just not quite ready yet, so we'll see. Maybe he'll try to jump the gun a little bit and do it fast. Elon Musk is, of anyone who could do it, he's certainly one that may try to do something fun and awesome like that. If nothing else, to accomplish just a fun goal. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace. This is Faustin, and I'll see you in the next video.